Hello viewers, you're once more welcome to your favorite show, Shantia's Haven. On Shantia's Haven, we talk about the family, building a better society, one family at a time. Today on Shantia's Haven, we're going to be talking about a very pertinent, educative and important topic. Children who have lost one or both parents. We want to find out how this has affected their lives in the society. You don't want to miss this episode. Stay tuned. Today on Shantia's Haven, we're going to be talking about the effects of the loss of a parent on the child. It's a rich packet. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Parents, guardians, I hope the ride is not so rough. Even when it gets rough, the tough gets going. We have a special guest and it's a rich package. You don't want to miss it. We have Pavel with us today on Shantia's Haven, who will be sharing his experience with us after the loss of his parents. Hello Pavel, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much.
Welcome to Shantia's Haven.
Thank you.
A place where we discuss family things, everything that happens in the family, good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right.
So today we are talking about the loss of a parent and its effects on children, on a child. And I was made to understand that you lost someone dear to you. So can you just tell our audience a little bit about this?
My mother died when I was 12 years old, and my father, whom I never knew, died 2 years later. So that's the experience I had.
Your father, that means you didn't know your father before?
Never.
So
Never
you
met
only
him.
got
never
to
seen
know
him.
about him when he died?
Yes, I heard about him.
Oh, you heard? You just
I
heard?
heard about his death the day they announced me he died.
Okay. That must be some hard. So you actually grew up with just your mother?
Yes, my mother was at the same time my father and my mother.
Your mother was the same time your father and your mother.
Exactly.
So how was this loss? What was this experience after she passed on?
Well, it was very, very difficult. It was.
Were you very close to your mother?
I was very close to my mother. I was super close to my mother.
Did you love her? Was she your every part of your life, or was
She was the center of my life. She was like the god of my life.
okay? Okay.
I had only her in my life. Of course, my brothers were there,
But
but
that your mom meant the world to
especially
you.
close to my mother.
Especially close to your mother.
Yeah.
And then she dies when you're 12 years old.
Exactly.
How did you manage this loss?
Wow. Immediately it was painful.
Okay.
Seeing mommy buried was difficult, but the greater effect was after.
The greater effect was after. What
Cry.
do you mean by that?
Um, the moment that mom is no more there to offer you a shoe or to make sure that you you've been eating as you ought to eat, or these things that she was commonly doing,
Okay.
uh, that was the moment I discovered for real that mom is no more there.
Okay.
And
Reality set in.
the reality,
Mm.
her voice, her warmth, in fact everything. I'm sorry, I'm emotional when I talk about it. uh, that was the coming years were when I noticed that actually she's no more. I will never see her again, and I have to deal with it.
You had to deal with it. Now you just made us understand that you didn't live with your father.
Yes.
So your mother was your world. And now after she died, what happened to you, to your brothers? What happened? Because if she was the center of your world, where did you go to?
All right. We separated. I have two brothers, an elder brother and a junior brother.
Okay.
So we all separated.
Okay.
We're all in three different locations.
So after the death of your mother,
After the death of my mother.
three of you went to three different homes
Exactly.
to live in.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it, we could difficultly meet.
You could hardly meet.
Hardly meet.
Okay.
We could hardly meet. As a matter of fact, we met, three of us, 14 years later. It's this year we met.
Is this
All
year,
of us.
14 years later, that three of you met
Yes.
in the same place?
Yes. It was an intense moment for all of us.
Okay. Let's go back to you leaving your mom's warmth, comfort, and everything, and going to live now. Who did you live with? Was it a friend, a relative, or?
I live with my aunties.
Okay, you went and you lived with your aunties.
Yes.
So, what was it like now not living with mommy?
Well, I will first say living with my auntie was an amazing experience.
An amazing experience.
Yes,
Okay.
because she gave it in her best,
Okay.
which I must salute and respect it.
Okay.
But there was always this effect, this thing that you find yourself comparing.
Okay.
Actually, this is how mommy will react
Okay.
when I do this. This is
Okay.
how my mother will always react when I do
Okay.
this. This is what she will say.
Yes.
The things change immediately.
Okay.
Things were totally different. It's as if I was going this direction, and all of a sudden I'm having but this direction.
Okay.
And I experienced things as I need to ask everything now.
You need to ask
I
for
need to ask
everything.
for everything.
But your mother used to just know that you needed this.
She
and
will notice
give
herself,
you.
and then she will
Okay.
replace
So now
it.
you have to learn to ask.
I need to learn how to ask everything.
Okay.
I need to of course do it available, which I was always okay with that.
Okay.
But I need to ask everything, even school.
Okay.
I have to remind and ask over and over again,
Okay.
which was really difficult. I would just generally say this in this way, because it was really difficult for me, because I am an introvert person.
Okay.
So I first love to be on my side, and asking was
difficult.
the most difficult
Okay.
thing for me.
Not to cut you short, hello viewers. Pavel has made us understand something, that when he now left his mom's warmth and comfort, when the cold hands of death stole her from him, he had to ask for everything, including things that had to do with school. I think this should be an eye-opener to us. Kudos to those who have taken in orphans to live with. You're doing a great job, and I know you have to also struggle to adjust, because it's not your normal routine to live with another child who is just coming into your home. But please, just a little bit of advice. Add in some effort. Try to meet this child's basic needs, like school and some other basic needs, without the child asking, like school fees. Just try to pay the fees without that child asking you for it, because it's already too hard for them that they are living without their biological parents or those they were very close to, and now living with you, it's hard for them to come and start asking for every little thing, and they will feel you are wicked, or they'll feel you're discriminating. Meanwhile, you're really not like that. Maybe you've just forgotten that you had to give it to them. So make it a conscious effort. If you're living with an orphan there now, make it a conscious effort to find out what their needs are and help them out. It's not like this child is treating you like you're not good enough to be their parent. It's just that they are still struggling to bridge that gap. That transition is not easy for them. So, Pavel, what was it like also, okay, living with your friends? You don't have a mother, you don't have a father, but these friends do have. Or even when you didn't know your father.
Yeah, when I didn't know my father, it was, I remember, nursing school, primary school, it was very difficult for me, because when we gathered in one
Yes.
place and we were talking, My daddy offered me a mambo. My daddy carried me when we were coming over. My daddy promised me this. We'll be visiting these people. My daddy, I'll enter my daddy's car. I was totally off. I was totally out of that circle. Uh, I had this emotion of not belonging to whatsoever they're saying because I could not identify myself in everything they are saying. Since I've not experienced it, I don't know what it is. You know, then there was nobody I was calling daddy.
Okay.
There was nobody I was calling papa. I only had mommy.
Okay.
And so whenever they are talking like this, whenever they are sharing that, at a point of time I will just leave and be on my own. And when they are talking about mommy, that's my comfort zone. That's where I have my own experience. That's where I can talk and
then suddenly this cuts off.
And suddenly it cuts off.
So how did you now manage that situation with friends who still continue talking now about their mothers too?
Well, I decided not to be among.
Okay.
I was totally off. I restrained myself on these topics, and because the 1-2 times I was in anger.
Okay.
I was mostly angry because they would tell me some things about their daily life with their mother, and I will always identify something which I did not do with mine, and I will feel angry at myself. And in that aspect, I was just disappear. I will just leave and let them be.
So, did you drop out of school? Did you go to school after your mom died? Did you leave school at that 12 years, or did you continue with school? The pain, did it make you hate school, hate everything, and you leave the school?
I continue with school.
Okay.
I continue with school. There was just this particular period of my life where nothing was important, not even school.
All right.
I dropped everything which I had passion of, like a football. I wanted to be a footballer, and I was pretty good at it.
That.
So I dropped it. The only thing I focused on was school.
Okay.
Because I was conscious at the fact that my aunties were paying my school fees.
Okay, thank you. Pavel, after losing his parents, dropped those things he was passionate about. He dropped many things. To him, nothing mattered. Please, if you live with an orphan, if you have an orphan in your family, I implore you to please talk to them, encourage them, find out their passion. Because you have accepted to take that child in, be intentional about being a parent of that child. Sometimes the child will not appreciate. Maybe just because the child is going through that pain, not that they really don't want to appreciate you. Be intentional, find out their passions in life, and find out how you can help them grow. Even if that child looks more intelligent than your own children, even if that child looks more promising than your children, even if the child's parents didn't do well and you don't have, you feel like, don't pay evil for evil. Work with that child in a very good way. You don't know how much God will reward you or reward your children because you took care of that orphan the way you have to. Because from what he is saying, these orphans go through mostly psychological pain. So let us work on their psychology a lot, giving it a lot of time to talk with them. Have a one-on-one conversation with them, even out of the home. Go out of your way to make this child feel comfortable. God sees your good work and he will surely reward you handsomely. Okay, Pavel. So what was your coping mechanism? Because you look it doesn't look on you. I don't see it on your face like, oh, I'm some orphan who no mother, I'm just there. I don't see it on your face. It's not written anywhere. And I believe you've met others. What is the advice you want to give an orphan there? Because there are some orphans who are even parents today who still go through a lot of stress and they don't even know how to cope. What is that advice you want to give them? How do they cope?
All right. I'll give my personal experience.
Okay.
I lost my mother, who was everything for me, at 12.
Okay.
And the day she left, because she traveled to meet a relative, and while being there, she died. So the day she left, or the day before she left, there was this misunderstanding between both of us, and I was not happy.
Ouch.
I was not happy. So the day she left, I remember very well looking at the window, and she took a bike, and she said, "I'm gonna." I was just, leave me alone. That was the last word I gave my mother. I just boldly said, "Leave me alone." And throughout these years, when I want to think about my mother, nothing else will come down. I'm gonna leave me alone. What the advice I want to say to orphans out there is, open up yourself and talk.
Okay.
Open yourself and talk, because you will suffer throughout the years. I suffered for 10 years. Every February was hell for me.
Every February was hell for you.
Every February.
Why February?
My mom died in February,
Okay.
and my daddy died in February. So I just discovered later that every February, nothing matters. Not even school, not even my family. I was not even eating. I don't understand how I was surviving those February. Nothing matters. Absolutely nothing matters. I didn't care. I went to disciplinary council when I was in secondary school 8 times.
8 times.
8 times. All of them were the effect of February.
So you went to disciplinary council mostly during the February season.
February season. 8 times. So what I really want to say to somebody out there is, open up.
Okay.
Try to identify somebody that you can talk to and open up. Just free up, free your heart. Speak whatsoever thing you have within you. It is difficult to say. I must confess it. It's difficult to identify the thing himself, because I don't know whether I was dealing with, I'm gonna leave me alone, or the loss of my mother, or the loss of my father. All of them were a package, and it was just, I was like living in a hole, in a dark hole place, and no view of light or anything. Things were very difficult. Things were very dark. So whatsoever they were telling me, hey, you're an intelligent student, what is happening? Nothing was entering. I'm in class, but I'm not in class. They're talking, I'm not with them.
Oh, so teachers also have responsibilities here, because from what you're saying, please, if you're a teacher and you have an orphan in your class, or not only an orphan, you find out a child is behaving funny, but this child, you know this child is a good child, or maybe an intelligent child, but just behaves in a bizarre way. I think you may want to have a short counseling session with this child, even if during your break time. You may discover something. Remember, you're the second parent of that child, because in school, that's the second home of the child. So just do your part. Wow, so that must have been a tough one for you, Pavel, and thanks to God. Thanks to God that you opened up. But it had to take you 10 years to do this.
It had to take me 10 years.
But you opened up eventually.
I opened up.
Hello, orphans, do open up. Sometimes these people don't know. Hello, parents and those who take care of orphans. It's not about buying things for them. It's not about paying things for them. It's about meeting their emotional need. When you get to their minds and you get to their hearts and you get to what they are feeling, you are touching that aspect of their life. And please do not minimize any pain they talk about or they go through, because no pain is small. And please do not be selfish. Sometimes it could be this child maybe has lost their parent, and to you that person was your best friend, or to you that person was, when this child is crying, give an ear to the child, because this child too is undergoing pain as much as you are undergoing. So let's give an ear to the orphans, even to these homes and these people who take care of orphans and those who go to orphanages. Don't just go put gifts there for them, and don't just go there and pray, oh Father, thank you for these children. You just pray and you dance and you put it on social media and you announce to the world, we went and gave this to this child. Better than that, get into their emotional life. If you can't talk to them one-on-one, because in some orphanage you can't really reach the children one-on-one, always pray as you give gifts to them. with your team, let that team also come together and always pray for the children, their emotional lives, their mentality, their mindset, that God should help and reformat their brains, reset them so that they become normal people in the society again. Because some of this crime and other things, they're just children, orphans, who have been so traumatized by life and everything that they decide to just say, after all, nothing matters. Let me do whatever I want to do. Some will even say, this one who was so careful, did the person not die? What is life? We have a responsibility as parents. We have a responsibility as guardians to take good care of these orphans. Please do. Please do. Pavel, thank you so much for coming up to talk on Shantia's Haven.
You too.
What you're doing is an amazing thing, and it's going to heal a lot of homes and a lot of hearts out there. And I pray for every orphan going through a situation that God will meet you at the point of your need. I also pray that God will lead you to the right counselor, to the right people who will listen to you and will understand your pain and offer help. I also pray for the parents who are overwhelmed and they don't really know what to do with these orphans, that God will grant you wisdom such that you will be able to reach them and you'll be able to talk to them. You'll be able to give them just the right word that they need at that right season. And for grace to carry on, to make our world a better place. If the parents died, it didn't mean everything is lost. Those children can also be gained and become wonderful parents tomorrow. If you thought this thing was educative, if you thought this episode was helpful to you, why not like, hit the subscribe button, and share the video. There are many families out there, there are many orphans, there are many people who take care of these orphans who don't know these little tips that we have put here, or who know just a bit and this one will add to the things they already know. Share to them. Thank you so much for watching Shantia's Haven. Remember to always leave it better than you met it. And concerning this topic, remember to leave these orphans or send them out of your house better than they came in. See you some other time on Shantia's Haven. Bye-bye.